There is nothing that the individuals at that satirical magazine did that justified in any way the kind of violence that we saw in Paris last week. None. That is, I think, the most important principle that's at stake here. At the same time, it would not be the first time that there has been a discussion in this country about the kinds of responsibilities that go along with exercising the right to freedom of speech.
All right, folks. So nothing justifies the violence, but welcome to Give Me Five. I got to tell you, the question raised 2 days ago to Josh Earnest was based on what Jay Carney had to say in 2012, where he took the magazine, Charlie, in question, to task for what they printed at the time, the Muhammad cartoons. It was in the context of the Benghazi and that supposed documentary that they believed at the time led to the Benghazi attacks. And Carney took the magazine to task. And now Josh Earnest is basically doing the same thing. I mean, didn't the president pound his chest, free speech, free speech? But he doesn't want you to do it. He doesn't want you to utilize your free speech rights if it offends certain people. Watch.
And in the scenario, or in the circumstances in which my predecessor was talking about this issue, there was a genuine concern that the publication of some of those materials could put Americans abroad at risk, including American soldiers at risk. And that is something that the Commander-in-Chief takes very seriously. And the President and his spokesman was not then and will not now be shy about expressing a view or taking the steps that are necessary to try to advocate for the safety and security of our men and women in uniform.
All right, look, so you're telling me that you're going to advocate against anti-jihad, anti-Muslim articles, cartoons, documentaries, films, anything that might insult the radical Islamists because you're afraid they're going to hurt our military? So they win? What is this? This is the United States government. This is the President of the United States now speaking through Josh Earnest. More.
When advocating and taking steps to protect American service personnel is different than criticizing or raising questions about the judgment underlying any satirical expression, be it to mock Islam or Christianity or Judaism or anything else. Where do you draw the line?
Well, I think it depends on the scenario. I think
not an absolute support or satirical mockery of any institution on this planet.
I think there are a couple of absolutes. The first is that the publication of any kind of material in no ways justifies any act of violence, let alone an act of violence that we saw on the scale in Paris.
Okay. But there's a big looming but coming next. And it's absurd. It's insane. It's waving the white flag. And this isn't a business making a decision to wave the white flag. This is the United States government. Watch.
This president, as the Commander-in-Chief, believes strongly in the responsibility that he has to advocate for our men and women in uniform, particularly if it's going to make them safer. And the president takes very seriously his responsibility as Commander-in-Chief to do that. And that's something that we're going to continue to do in the future. Those are the absolutes, or at least two of them. But when we are confronted with these kinds of scenarios where we're balancing basic rights alongside very important responsibilities that must also be exercised, it's going to always depend on the scenario. But what won't change is our view that freedom of expression in no ways justifies an act of violence against the person who expressed a view. And the president considers the safety and security of our men and women in uniform to be something worth fighting for.
So that's going to be the excuse going forward. You can't air that movie, you can't write that article, you can't print that cartoon because it's going to harm our men and women in uniform and put them in jeopardy. That's what they're going to be that's their fallback argument now. What have we come to on the Steve Malzberg Show?